everybody, what's up and welcome back to the garden. Today I got a lot of questions about this greenhouse, this hoop house. We'll call it an unheated hoop house. Okay, so if you've been around the channel for any length of time, about a year, you'll remember last year I made a video about how I constructed this hoop house. I'll put the link to that down in the description if you're interested. It was quite the undertaking, admittedly. For one person in a tiny space, it was very difficult, but somehow I got the job done. As you can imagine, there were a lot of naysayers about this hoop house. For this 20-foot by about 45-foot long hoop house, it cost me, I can't remember, I think it was just over about $175 or something. I can't remember. It might have been $200. I might have blocked it all out in my brain. But for about $200, I was able to create this large growing space. And when I overwintered all of these flowers in here, it was so worth the investment. All of the flowers in the garden last year, they got donated. But if I were to have sold them for cut flowers, I guarantee that they would have easily made up the cost. A lot of people were concerned that it wasn't going to hold up and, you know, all that stuff, which I agree. You know, this isn't the best structure. I'm glad that I have a privacy fence around it that helped protect it from a lot of the wind that we do get here in the winter. I also don't get a lot of snow where I live. Even though it gets cold here in Kentucky, usually about -4 degrees Fahrenheit at the lowest, you know, once or twice a year. Nothing too bad. Even though we do get those cold temperatures, we do not get much snow. In general, we usually don't get more than a foot of snow at any time. And if we do, it's very rare. For me, this hoop house is a viable option because I can knock off any snow. It's keeping my plants warm. And that is one of the most important parts when you decide to do a hoop house or low tunnels or anything like that, is deciding if the cost is going to be, you know, worth it. So this year, what I'm going to do is have the same hoop house skeleton because it's made out of PVC. The PVC is still nice and strong. Over the summer, I did have some of the glue joints pop out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to re-glue those. And I'm going to take a roll of duct tape and I'm going to just duct tape the crap out of this thing. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Listen, you can watch a Real Garden channel or you can watch the My Garden channel. I mean, let's just be real. I don't have this huge income to spend on garden stuff. I'm just a normal person trying to grow some stuff, grow some cut flowers. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to tape up all of those joints and make it this structure nice and sound once again. And I am going to start adding the plastic once again. Now, this is not the same plastic from last year. For this hoop house, I bought a 20-foot by 100-foot 6mm poly sheeting from Home Depot. You could get greenhouse plastic, but the reason I did not is that greenhouse plastic is much more expensive. And yes, even though greenhouse plastic does last for several years, usually they have a guarantee even, but the guarantee does not apply, or the warranty does not apply when it comes into contact with PVC. See, they know what I'm doing over here. They know I got a PVC hoop house back here in my backyard. So instead of doing that and risking like, oh, well, what if it reacts badly with the PVC? I don't know what to do. Instead of doing that, I just got the 6mm regular plastic sheeting. The plastic sheeting from last year is still in good shape. I do still have it. I got it stored in my basement. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to cut that down even further and I'm going to use that for my flower low tunnels. But for now, I'm just covering this hoop house with plastic. To secure the plastic to the ground, what I'm using is I'm using these landscape fabric pins. Now, these landscape fabric pins last year did exceptionally well holding this plastic on. The only issue was on extremely windy days in the spring when I had the hoop house completely open. When that draft could go through, it did want to pull on the pins a little bit. That was something that was a minor inconvenience. So for somebody who has a lot of windy weather, I would think maybe running a board along the base of the hoop house would help to alleviate that problem and kind of securing it in that way. I think that would be a good kind of solution for that. But I'm just going to do what I did again with the pins. I'm going to cover up the pins with some soil, lots of leaves, just kind of protect it and make sure no wind can get under it. And just like last year, I am going to secure the plastic to the kind of PVC frame using PVC clamps. I have a lot of PVC 1/2-inch clamps. They're generally used to secure row covers, but I'm just kind of using them in a larger scale to secure a much larger piece of plastic. We don't have any fancy doors in this hoop house. Just like the actual plastic itself, the end pieces of plastic are secured on with PVC clamps. I purchased my PVC clamps from groworganic.com. They seem to have the best clamps. Some of these are very tight. They are very difficult to remove. Sometimes I have to get a screwdriver to get them off even. I've ordered some from Amazon in the past, but they were just so weak. They weren't snug. The wind would blow them off. It seems that Grow Organic has some really high quality ones. This isn't a sponsored video. It's just I found that theirs are a lot better than a lot of the other brands. Hopefully this answered any questions that people have about my cheap hoop house that I've got in my backyard. I really personally like it. It's got a trellis in the middle. I really like the fact that when it's cold outside in the wintertime and I'm losing my mind, I have cabin fever, I can go outside and climb in my hoop house and, you know, the sun is shining, it's 60 degrees, and there are plants everywhere. I really like that. It's really important to me, especially as somebody who struggles throughout the winter. It's kind of like a garden oasis. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any additional questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. If you're new to the channel and you like this video, be sure to subscribe. I would absolutely love to have you. Share the video with your friends, all that good stuff. We're making new content all the time. Hopefully we can keep the channel growing. I hope that you are having an amazing day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.